Do you think that God should give the cure to the kid with leukemia?
No, I think all children and everyone should suffer as much as possible, as much as God wants them to. I love suffering. I love seeing children suffer. I want children suffering with cancer. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of suffering.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bad Bible Debates. That's the show where Mezzo and I share some of our finest debates that we've had with Christians all over the internet. And Mezzo's here. I've seen him. I've spoken to him. We actually met at the airport, and we came over here to the studio. We even shared a black cab. But for some reason, I don't get, there's a cellist here, and they decided to, teach him how to string a cello. Okay, and I don't know. I said we got a recording to do, and he doesn't even respond. That's the thing that bothers me about him is he doesn't even respond. He just completely disregards. Anyway, so he's learning how to string a cello. While I'm doing this. So anyway, I'll get things started, and then I'm sure he'll pop in whenever he's done stringing the cello. Unbelievable. Anyway, this first debate was with a young lady who doesn't know what a healthy relationship looks like. I'm convinced that no Christians do because they think they have a relationship with God. And they think it's the God of the Bible, believe it or not. Take a listen. BPDs. Are you a Christian?
I'm a follower of Christ. I wouldn't call myself a Christian. I don't like that.
Why not?
Because it's not biblical.
Would you say you're a Sadak Macbivtage or something?
I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry.
It's this new thing. When people say that they're not a Christian, but they do follow the teachings of Jesus, they're called Sadak Macbivtage. It's just this kind of a new term for them, but it's spelt Sadak Macbivtage.
I see you have it on your cup.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Actually, I have it on the cup here. You can just say Sadak Mac if you want.
Okay, I can't call myself something. I don't exactly know what that even means. I'm going to have to look it up.
I just said, so I don't actually consider myself a Christian. Is that what you just said?
Oh, it's literally, okay.
So I don't actually consider myself a Christian, but I follow the teachings of Jesus.
I just wouldn't call myself a Christian because it's not biblical.
But you follow the teachings of Jesus?
And I'm a believer of Jesus.
Yeah, so you're Sadak Macbivtage. So when you just go into, if you ever come up on another live or whatever, just be like, they go, are you Christian? Just go up Sadak Mac, and they'll be like, okay, cool. And then they'll move on. Because it's just everyone's saying it now. It's just the way that people are identifying, because a lot of people do not want to call themselves a Christian because they know that they sound like dirty, rotten scoundrels, because a lot of Christians are dirty, rotten scoundrels. Is that what your thought is? You don't like Christians?
No, not that I don't like. I know a lot of people who consider themselves to be Christians.
And they're dirty, rotten scoundrels, aren't they?
I feel like you're trolling right now, but no, not at all. They're actually pretty loving people. It's just not biblical. And anybody can call themselves a Christian nowadays. It's completely
That's
different.
why I like Sadak Macbivtage, because it's only certain people can call themselves that. And those are the people who don't consider themselves Christians, but still follow the teachings of Jesus. Only those people can call themselves Sadak Macbivtage. Unlike Christians, it's I'm a Christian. You're not. Okay? Right. You're Methodist. Yeah. You're Catholic. You're Jehovah's Witness. You're Mormon. That's not Christian. So anyway, I'm thinking that we're going to be dumping the book, though, right? Are you ready
You want me to burn the Bible?
We're just going to we don't have to do anything fit. If you want to have sort of a ceremonial burning, you may. But I'm just thinking about this as we're going to dump the belief. We're just going to let go of the nonsense. We're going to throw the dogma in the garbage. Are you happy to do that with us tonight?
You want me to dump the Bible?
Yeah, I'm let's all dump the Bible. I said, Christians, slip in my little box. Try not to be a POSFF.
Right, what is a POSF?
Piece of shit fuck face.
Oh, okay, so we can say that in this live?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not going to dump the Bible, ever.
Oh, why not?
It's a lot of good things in the Bible.
Name one.
Okay, today actually God gave me a scripture and
I love this.
it went along with science. It was bad company corrupts good character. And and it's true.
Okay, what's the
Because
scientific study on that?
I was just watching something, and a woman was saying that they did some studies that said if you sit next to somebody who's 25 feet away from you, or you work next to somebody, excuse me, who's 25 feet away from you, that's a hard worker, you can become a hard worker. Or if you sit next to somebody who's lazy, you become lazy.
So you're saying we're keeping the Bible because it got one thing. Guys, I have a hard time. I want to just come clean real quick here. I'm often a negative Nancy. I come on here and it's like I want to, beat the book in a sense. I want to be like, oh, you bum. And that's to the book or God or whatever. But if there's something in there that is accurate and that is true, I'm not going to just push back against it because it's Bible and I hate the Bible or something. This seems true. That if you spend time with people who have like certain behaviors, especially if you like them and stuff like that, you can develop similar behaviors.
But you asked me for one thing, so I just said one thing.
Yeah, I think there's enough in the Bible that's worth getting rid of that we don't need to keep it for this. Is there anything else you have to offer, or is that it?
No, there's plenty in the Bible. Like, do not. I'm trying to figure out the right way to word it, but don't push your children to anger. Respect and honor your elders.
Mm-hmm. What if they're not respectful? I don't like that one because it's like, what if they're not honorable or whatever?
Yeah, I feel that. I really do, but we still are called to honor them, even if they're not honorable.
Yeah, that's abusive. I disagree with that. If your mom is abusive towards you, if she burns you with cigarettes every night, are we going to honor her?
It says forgive over 70 something times. You got to forgive your brother. You got to continue to
70 times 7.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, so that's bad advice, right? So if somebody is constantly abusing you, you should not be allowing that. That's wrong. You're just going to continue to be abused.
Yeah, I can see that, but you can.
Do you have kids?
I don't think it's
saying
that you should just be stupid.
Do you have kids?
In situations. I'm pregnant right now.
Okay, so you want that little baby to let somebody beat the shit out of them and burn them with cigarettes every day? And they'll just like forgive it.
I doubt that my child would let that happen.
Well, that's good. It sounds like you do better than the Bible. You're protecting yourself.
The Bible also talks about abuse too, like just abusive relationships, like
the one God apparently has with his people.
You feel like God is that's not what I was talking about. But you feel like God is abusive to his people.
Yeah, he's like an abusive boyfriend.
I feel like the devil is an abusive boyfriend.
In what way do you think the devil is abusive?
Because when you finally give yourself to Christ, then you get attacked. You deal with spiritual attacks. Like
I don't buy that one. But I would say that why don't you show us in Bible how he's an abusive boyfriend? Because I would say I put a little bit of a list here. So God is an abusive boyfriend in the sense that he isolates you. Have you noticed that? So abusive people will isolate you. They will get you away from your friends. They will get you away from your family, right? They'll get you away from your support group so that they can do what they want and you don't have anyone to reach out to. And that's what God does. He tries to get you away from everyone that's not in the club. That's an abusive boyfriend, right?
Yeah, I feel like that's an abusive boyfriend, but I don't think God is.
That's God. So another thing God does, which is an abusive boyfriend move, is he love bombs. Have you ever heard that term?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So God says, "Oh, he's so much. I love you. I made you. You're so precious. You're all those things," and then just puts you through like a life of suffering and stuff like that. I'm slow to anger, baby. I'm slow to anger and abounding in love. But he doesn't. He doesn't do that. He's kind of monstrous. right? And he just wants you to
Have
love
you
him.
experienced that for yourself, or you're just?
I don't believe
literally
God
going
exists,
off the
obviously,
Bible?
but I'm looking at the Bible. I'm just reading the character of God from the Bible. A good relationship, a functional relationship, a truly loving relationship is going to be with someone who's consistent. And you know that they're going to be consistent because that's how someone's honest. If someone's honest, they're consistent. So if you get somebody who is inconsistent and all over the place, that's someone who's lying to you, gaslighting. This is a dishonest and abusive person.
He's never lied. He's always true.
He lied in the first book of the Bible. He says that if you eat from this tree, you shall surely die. And
That was the devil. That wasn't God. That was the
No,
snake.
God said that.
God said, if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you shall surely die. And the devil said, no, you won't die. So Eve ate from it, and guess what? They didn't die. No, God says on the day.
As a consequence of that, we die today.
He says that in the day, the snake says, in the day that you eat of it, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. In the day that you eat of it. And the same exact phrase is used by God saying, in the day that you eat of it, you will surely die. In the day that they eat of it, they do get the knowledge of good and evil, but they do not die. So that seems to be God lying, because what he said did not come true.
Just because he said in the day doesn't mean that they're going to die that day. He's outside of time. So
why would God speak to them in a way that they wouldn't understand, like outside of time language? That doesn't make sense.
It's too specific. If he's saying in that day you will die, doesn't mean that you will die that day. We all are going to die as a result.
I would suggest that if he meant eventually you will die, then he would have said the day that you eat of the fruit, that will start the clock and eventually you will die. Don't you see how?
Because you're looking at it from a human perspective.
Well, yeah, we're humans, so
Yeah,
right.
all
Yeah, exactly. So
God
with
was
the
talking to
limited-
humans.
you have to look at it
Right.
through my dog's perspective.
Right. With a limited mindset, you're not going to understand what happens inside the spiritual realm.
Every time you have to say we're just humans or whatever is only because you don't have a coherent answer. So you have to be like, because you're basically saying, I agree with you, Joel. It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't God use better language? Well, his ways are higher.
We're human.
His ways are higher. Who cares if the world's a mess?
Wow.
His ways are higher. I'm too blessed to be stressed. His ways are higher. I'm gonna say it with my chest. His ways are higher. This is a big barbaric test. Just pawns in a game of chess. But it doesn't make me love him less. I'm too blessed to be stressed.
Oh, sorry.
What a voice, Skits.
Wow. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. So do you understand what happens in the spiritual realm?
No.
Have you ever been inside the spiritual realm?
No. I live in the
No.
real
Oh,
world.
okay.
Ow! Oh, that got me right in the chin. Oh, yeah, maybe this wouldn't happen if someone would help me string my cello. It's a two-man job, and he's literally just hiding in the break room now. Like, he won't even come in here. We're working. By the way, I just remembered we have hilarious merch. I made a tiny URL link to make it easy for you, so just check out tinyurl.com/BBD shop. That's tinyurl.com/BBD SHOP. And check out our tote bags, which have just horrendous Bible verses on them. Anyway, in the last clip, you heard a little bit from our friend Skits, as well as the term Sadak Mak Biv Taj. Now, in our debates, we explained to people how this word was coined long ago, and we don't know how it started. But the truth is, we do. I made it up. It's just a made-up acronym. It stands for, so I don't actually consider myself a Christian, but I follow the teachings of Jesus. It was just a joke I made up, and for some reason, it's really fun to try to convince people that this long acronym is what they are. And we did a little bit of that in this next clip.
That doesn't sound like a joke name. That might be your real name, Sean. Welcome in. What's your age and religion?
Yeah, I'm 50. I'm a believer in Christ, and Sean is a real name.
Awesome. Well, my real name is Joel, so we can speak candidly to each other.
Joel?
And, yeah.
Yeah, that's my cousin's name, Joel.
Wait, are you guys cousins?
Nah, I didn't say him. My cousin.
Joel, do you have a cousin named Sean?
Let me check.
No, we're not related. He's white.
I could be adopted.
I'm related to some black people.
Yeah, you're not related.
We married in?
Most of my family's black, actually.
Yeah, I'm talking biological.
All right, well, we're not biological related, I guess.
At least not yet. So, Sean, you're a Sadakmak, or are you a Christian?
I'm a believer in Christ.
Sadakmak is with the word for it.
No, that's what you say. I don't know. Y'all come on. Why y'all come up with all these terminologies here in America? That's crazy.
So I think these things are helpful just when we're like in your everyday life. You don't have to go around saying, I'm a Sadakmak, Biv Taj. But when we're having these conversations, the more clear of a definition that we can start with, I know where you're coming from. So if you say, like, come in these and say, I'm a Sadakmak Biv Taj, then I know what you're talking about. You don't use the word Christian, but you follow the teachings of Jesus. Like, great. That makes sense to me now. Like,
well, I live in New York City, and I have these debates all the time, conversations. I live around a lot of people, and nobody says that because most people are really trying to get to know you as a person, not your religion.
Like, are you a member of the alt-right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but they're Christians too, so now it's confusing.
So you're talking about the biggest. So you're talking about the denominations that come about here in America.
Sadakmak isn't a denomination, though. It's yeah.
What does it mean? What language does it come from?
If you go to, you know what? I don't know what language it's originally from.
I think it's Gaelic or Celtic.
Yeah, it's a European concept.
Let me read it.
If you want to call it European, but it's like.
I mean, the Celtics were European. Scotland is in Europe, and.
Here's what it says. Here's what it says online. It says Sadakmak Biv Taj is a term for people who do not consider themselves traditional Christians for any reason, but do follow the teachings of Jesus Christ from the Bible. It's a rather long acronym, often shortened to Sadakmak. Oh, it's not. It's an acronym. I didn't know that.
McJack, yes, definitely. You're the first person I've seen said that.
The acronym is, so I don't actually consider myself a Christian, but I follow the teachings of Jesus. Is that what you would say?
No, I don't. I wouldn't. I'm a believer in Christ.
You don't follow his teachings, though?
I'm a believer in Christ, though.
But do you follow his teachings?
I mean, all believers should.
Okay, so...
Do you consider yourself a Christian?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's exactly you.
Look,
but that's
I don't like the name atheist either. I'd rather consider myself a laser hawk. That's a cooler name than atheist.
I'm saying, where's that name come from, though?
Oh, it says right here, the term originated in the early 1970s, but was used sparingly until recently. The original use of it was somewhat tongue-in-cheek and often used as a light jab to people who were lukewarm Christians. However, more recently, the word has regained popularity and has been taken back as a term for people happy to distinguish themselves from the Bible thumpers and the alt-right movement of Christians. Today, Sadakmaks prefer to use this term in an effort to distance themselves from those type of behaviors. So if you're like in any way distancing yourself from like traditional Christianity, following the teachings of Jesus, then it's just the right word for you. And by the way, like from now on, like this is Atheist Hawk or Laser Hawk Sunday School. Like, what do you think? Is that a cooler name than atheist?
That's subjective.
Yeah, so but I don't get to like just choose what I'm called. It makes more sense if I say I'm an atheist. Now you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want to say, actually, if you're trying to brand yourself, if you're trying to stand out so you can be unique, I would do that. I mean,
don't you see what I'm saying, though, that like it becomes confusing. The reason that we use labeled, I know it's like not fun to be labeled, but the reason we use them is so that when we start a conversation, we kind of know where we're coming from. That's all it is. You don't have to call yourself that if you don't want to. It's fine.
Whatever you want to call yourself, that's fine.
Can somebody in chat figure out what the acronym is if you go, so I don't actually consider myself a Sadakmak, but I exactly fit the definition of Sadakmak.
You know what Christ called? You know what Christ called us?
Believers?
Called you believers.
Israelites?
No, Christ. Jews? No, believers. You said it. He called them disciples, though. Really, to be honest with you.
So
I know, I get it. Christians in America stress that, you repent, be baptized, go to hell, whatever the case may be. But that's not the gospel of the kingdom that Christ was preaching. You believe what you want.
Do you think that Jesus was the God from the Old Testament?
He was definitely that.
Yeah, that's a bummer. The Old Testament's nasty. Like, there's a lot of stuff in it that's just like really vile. So like,
It does.
It gets weird for me to have a guy be like, "Hey, I've come to tell you all I love you so much. Plus, I'm the guy who did all the bad shit."
But he never came to tell. Notice the funny thing about that. This is a concept that these hippies put together. Christ never came and said, "I came to show you that I love you." He never said that. He actually said this: "I came to not bring peace to the earth, but I came to bring a sword." Now that's aggressive.
And you like that part?
I love that part.
So you're just like a mean guy?
I'm a person that understands there's a yin and yang.
I don't. Is that the right answer that you're trying to use? So you read the Old Testament and go, "Yep, that's the God I like."
I read the Old Testament because I'm spiritually alive, so I understand Genesis to Malachi. You don't.
So like when it says bad things were happening, you don't think it was happening, or you do think it was happening?
No, it was happening, and I understand why it was happening.
You think that it's justified, all the awful things
Everything in there is justifiable.
You're disgusting.
I mean, that's perfectly fine.
No, it's not. It sucks.
I mean, I could say the same thing about white America. They're disgusting. I mean, I live in Alabama, so
I agree.
A lot of things that happen down here in Alabama, man, white folks don't have no room to talk about disgusting. And I live in Tuscaloosa, and I can tell you, shoot, my wife is white. She's
you're
disgusted.
saying that, I'm sorry, you're saying that because people are bad in Alabama, that the Bible's okay?
No, I was saying that when
Why'd you bring it up?
Disgusting because you said I'm disgusting because I know the Old Testament. And then you said,
well,
the
read
things
bad things in the Old Testament and say that they're justified, like slavery,
they're justifiable.
Like selling your daughter into slavery. That's okay.
No, it's not that's what I'm saying. It's subjective. It happens. We understand why it happens.
You said it's justified.
If God wanted it to happen, yes. Anything that God said
so selling your daughter into schmeck slavery is justified because
God never told anybody to sell anybody schmeck slavery.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, you suck. You're a piece of shit.
And we're back. And I say we're back. Mezzo's pulling a Moody. I don't know why are you literally not going to say anything? I don't know why we're flying all the way here and driving in a black cab together just to sit in silence while the other person is recording. Like, I don't get it. Like, you're literally not going to say anything right now? I called my Aunt Gertrude, and she said that me being upset that you wasted our time together by stringing a cello is valid. Okay? All right. Anyway, while he's giving me the silent treatment, live on a mic, just move your head away from the mic then if you're not going to say anything. Anyway, you don't even need to be wearing the head. Don't make that face at me. Anyway, this next debate is a little bit of a debate. It's more of a conversation with somebody who hadn't considered that maybe the things that God does in the Bible aren't things that we need to immediately accept. Take a listen. BBDs. Reese, are you a Christian?
Yes. I've recently found these lives, or like this genre of live stream. Are there arguments that maybe that we have access to the original language that these texts were written in, and the ability to understand ancient Hebrew as a more expressive language than English and a more nuanced text than we kind of receive?
But there's people that know the Hebrew the way you're describing, and they are still atheists because it doesn't ring true. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
I think that I understand why the Bible would be deeply irrelevant to you.
This is the whole point of this live. And if I go show me in the Bible this concept that you like, it's just not there. So I'm convinced there's nothing worthwhile in the Bible except for love your neighbor, and we can get that other places. So we don't really need to deal with the slavery laws. Nobody should be believing the Bible. It's bad. It's all bad. Okay, there's one or two decent platitudes, but it's mostly bad. If you have something where you're like, no, Joel, it isn't. Look at this. I would love to see it.
I'm totally commiserating in that there are things that are really difficult to wrestle with, and your anti-apologetics they're not bad. You trip up a lot of people, and I think that it's really fun to watch. I read these texts that y'all regularly bring up with here. I remain a Christian at the end of the day.
God could be like, take a rusty old pipe and fuck a woman in the ass with it until she dies, and you'd be like, yep. Well, I mean, there was probably a good reason. Like, if they didn't do that, then well, she was a Nephilim. She was part Nephilim, so that's probably reasonable, right?
No, I think in the Bible we see people question God when asked to do things that seem to be outside of his character, and that's something that would fall outside of the character of God.
So you would be like, I condemn that Yahweh commanded this person to grape a woman with a rusted pipe.
If that were to happen, I think that it would be fair to question God and to ask what is going on.
You would condemn that Yahweh told whatever character to do that in the book at that point. Hopefully. This is so weird that there's a pause, Reese. This is a hypothetical. Just say yes. If Yahweh commanded somebody to grape a woman anally with a rusted pipe, I would be disgusted, and I would say this can't be God. There can't be a good. That would not be good. That would not be loving. That would not be just. This God could not be real.
That would not be okay, and that's also just not something within the character of God.
Just like explore that for yourself. Like go think this through, search your heart and go, Reese, where is the line? Because if you would condemn God for the horrible hypothetical that I came up with, why are we not condemning the stuff that is actually in there? Like, why am I accepting all of this, but I won't go here? It's like there's a weird thing that happens in a Christian. I don't know if it's a fear thing or if it's the indoctrination thing or what's happening in there that is causing them to be like, I can't condemn this. I can't say no, even though I know that it's horrible. I know beyond the shadow of that, like that's awful. Like that's heinous. I can't just say, I reject that. I condemn that. You got to explore that. Like, just allow yourself to explore that. And that needs to happen. That's critical thinking. And that's how to engage with this text, because there's a world, Reese, where this isn't true. In that world, men wrote a book and they hated women and they wrote a bunch of like flawed laws and attributed them to a God. And then you're believing that thing. Like that makes a lot of sense because we are using adjectives like good, loving, and just. And those things don't match slavery and grape and misogyny. They just don't interact with each other. It's good to sit there and go, where's the line? Why am I not condemning these things that I know in my heart are wrong? I would really explore that like in a very like rip your heart out sort of way, like really dig into that for yourself.
I agree. I think this is probably the most like fair conversation that I have like watched y'all have, and I appreciate that it was with me and that you're, willing to just kind of like chat with me in good faith, and I will keep watching.
Reese, have a beautiful night. It was nice talking to you.
Well, after all that complaining, Joel finally's like, here, let me do it. And now he's in there just fully captivated by this cello. It's actually beautiful how entranced he is. It's like watching a poet paint a sculpture with music. I mean, he's just in the zone. Honestly, I bet he won't even remember that we had this fight. Like, after this next clip, he's going to walk in here and act like nothing happened, and he's going to do his little joke where he says, and I'm Joel twice, and just pretend he didn't get so emotional about this fucking cello. What a beautiful mind. Anyway, here's a clip about leukemia with some guy named Coochie.
We have Gucci here. Gucci, welcome in. What's your age and religion?
22 years old, and I'm just a follower of Christ. I don't really subscribe to the whole idea of the denominations and whatnot.
You don't consider yourself a Christian, but you follow the teachings of Jesus or something like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think I should believe that Jesus was a real God?
To answer your question truthfully, truthfully, But
I'm sorry, just to be clear, you don't have to answer truthfully here.
Just to piggyback on what Mezzo said there, if you are going to lie, you don't have to tell us, and you don't have to tell us if you're being truthful. Like either way, you can just do whatever you're going to do, and then we'll try to suss it out. But like it's in this case, it's going to be truthfully. That's good to know, but you didn't have to tell us.
I didn't have to clarify.
If you're going to speak truthfully, then you don't have to tell us. But I think if you are going to lie, I would prefer if you said, I'm going to lie, and then say the lie.
Yeah, I'd prefer it too, but he's not obligated. Okay. Can we agree on that?
Joel's the mod. He makes the rules here. So yeah, I guess that's fair then.
I'll make it quick. I'll get straight to the point. I had 30 days to get to my next spot. The only apartment that was available, I couldn't afford anything like that. So I was scared, man. I had about 10 days left. Basically, I prayed to God and I was like, God, give me a sign. Give me something to work with. After that, I get a call on December 29th. I had to be out by the 30th saying I need a down payment of the rent and on top of whatever rent would be. So I need to pay for last month. And I got the spot.
What you're saying is just like you got an apartment. And that doesn't seem like it is necessarily a miracle, because I've had lots of apartments. That doesn't mean it's a miracle. It just kind of like sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't.
In the way with the intentions that I did it, I feel that it was definitely God interacting with me.
Do you think you could use that same intention to pray for like no more children get leukemia?
There's just certain things set for your life that are just free will, that sometimes you self-inflict things on yourself. You make decisions every day. Now, for kids that grew up that didn't even get a chance to live, those people are saved. Those people will be saved.
I'm not talking about their afterlife. I'm talking about while they're suffering here on earth, God crosses his arms and says no to them because he doesn't want to cure them so that you can have a good story and believe harder.
He doesn't cure anyone. Name one person that he's cured, that he's come down himself and cured. Name one.
I agree with you. I think W guessed God has never cured anyone. I don't think God is real, though.
No, I won't say that he hasn't cured anyone. I'm just saying.
Do you think God has the power to give you an apartment?
God has the power to do whatever he wants.
So that's a yes. Yeah. Do you think God knows the cure for leukemia?
100%.
If a doctor knew the cure for leukemia and wasn't giving it to us, do you think that doctor would be a good doctor?
No, obviously not.
Why is it okay for God to do it, but not the doctor?
The doctor is human. The doctor is physical. God lives outside of time, space, and matter.
Could God provide us with the cure for leukemia?
He 100% already has. It's here on earth right now.
What is it?
I don't know it. We have to figure it out. That's the whole point.
Could he point to it so that we know what it is while our children
Ask the
are all
doctor.
dying?
A lot of doctors, supposedly there's already a cure for it.
No, there's not.
I've heard multiple times that there's a cure for it.
What is it?
You got to have money to know.
Do you think God has the power to give the cure for leukemia to the children who can't afford it?
Oh, 100%.
So why doesn't he do that?
Like I said, things have turned wicked.
Back then in 2022?
No, we're talking about the past, whenever God turned into a bush.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about right now. Why doesn't God do it right now?
Because it's not on you or me or anybody. It's all dependent upon God. Why you want me to answer this question? That's a God question. I'm not God.
How do I ask God?
I think you should pray about it.
Do you think you could pray for me and figure out why God isn't curing leukemia?
I pray for I will pray for you, my brother. It's not a problem.
If you could find out why God isn't curing leukemia, that'd be super helpful. And I could add another list of like diseases that are specific towards like children. If you could sort that out.
What makes you think he's in charge of deciding that or not?
Are we following God's plan of the universe right now?
Certain people are, yeah. Not everyone.
Are the babies?
The babies don't. You do understand in the Bible it even says that kids that are too young don't get a chance to be tested. You obviously have a lot of things.
The reason I'm asking you is because you're willing to say God is responsible for giving me my apartment. But then when it's like, well, why doesn't he cure these? It's like, I don't know, this and that. There's no reason. No one has an answer. He lives outside of space and time.
I have to thank him for the positive and the negative in my life, because without either
so we thank him for the negative of
I'm
Harlequin babies and child leukemia. We thank him for that.
No.
Does anyone else get the vibe? And I'm going to try to do a sports metaphor, but like when you were younger at Mezzo, I don't know if you ever had this experience where like a young kid that you knew was like, oh, I could do a really good throwing of the basketball and get it in the basket without it hitting the sides of it, you know, from a really far distance, right?
Yeah, it's called a swash.
And then A swash, yeah. And then you're like, okay, we'll do it. And he's like, no, I don't want to. But like, I could do it, but I just don't want to. And you just get the feeling that he can't do it. I get that vibe from Jesus and from Gucci, where it's just like, yeah, I totally could do it. He just like doesn't want to.
If Jesus were to save
sploosh. Sorry about that. They said it's a sploosh in chat. I don't know.
Yeah, like I could totally do the sploosh. Yeah, I just don't want to.
Do you not think that God is in control of this?
God is in control of creating you and your heart and everything you do in your life. If I do nothing wrong, but God forbid someone convicts me of a crime that I didn't do, and they supposedly have evidence that was never there, and I go to prison. Either way, there are things in life that are unfair. God never promised you an easy life. You're making it seem like life is sunshine and rainbows. You're making it seem like life is sunshine and rainbows and you don't have to put in work.
I'm not making it seem like it's sunshine and rainbows. I'm making it seem like it's bad, and it's weird that it's bad because you think God exists. Now, Joel's talking and you can't interrupt.
I don't know, because you're not really a Christian, but some Christians believe that God created everything in the world, which would be, like cancer would be part of that everything. He would have created the natural system by which cancer presents itself. Do you not believe that? Are you the type of Christian that believes that there's another creator or something?
No, not at all. There's only one creator.
Oh, you do believe that God is the creator?
There's only one Lord and Savior, and there's only one.
Oh, okay, so God created cancer then.
Intentions is very important, and we just stated that. He does not intentionally put anything onto anyone.
Oh, it's an accident.
No, it just happens. These are uncontrollable. You cannot. Cancer cells are.
He has
activated.
no control of cancer. He can control the universe in a way that it gives you an apartment, but he can't like just give us the cure for leukemia.
Has anyone ever survived from leukemia?
I don't know. Do you have the cure?
No, you do know. You just don't want to answer that.
Hey, you're yelling, buddy. You're crashing out and you're yelling. We can talk about this, okay?
Do you hear what I'm saying? Your body is temporal.
You're yelling. It's hard for me to hear yelling. Can you talk it in a normal voice?
Your body is temporal.
Awesome.
Does not mean that God is tempting you with that evil. So like I said,
I
the
never
way you're
said
trying
that's
to make
what it
it
is.
seem that God is tempting someone with cancer.
You're yelling, Gucci.
No, this is embarrassing for you, bro. You're sitting on a platform
I know. I'm
in
super
front of
embarrassed.
400 people.
Gucci, I'm
you got
embarrassed.
family
I'm
members.
so embarrassed.
You got people who probably look up to you. This is embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. I know. That's why I don't like the yelling, because like it's so embarrassing, and I'm like scared and I'm afraid right now.
So, Gucci, let's just maybe calm you down by saying, all right, God doesn't intentionally give anyone cancer. Let's say that. Let's just imagine somehow that makes logical sense. But we already know that he has the cure for cancer. If there's a doctor standing over the bed of a dying child who's dying of cancer, and he has the cure, is it not immoral for that doctor to not give that child the cure?
Think about it on human logic. This is what you're saying.
Gucci, you're
right?
yelling.
You're expecting a doctor.
I know I'm embarrassed, but you can't yell at me when I'm embarrassed, okay? You're ripping me apart.
Joel. You said
Gucci,
no one can
stop
speak
yelling right now and listen to me talk. I know that you're cooking me and you're shredding me to bits in this debate, and it's embarrassing for me, but you can't stop interrupting me. It is a debate. That's what this is. You can't yell at me on top of it. I'm already losing. Don't kick me while I'm down, okay?
You're wasting your time in something you don't believe in.
Stop adding insult to injury, Coochie. You have to be more polite. Mezzo's sitting here red-faced. He looks like an idiot in front of all these people. And then you're yelling him down. And it's just...
this is so cringe, bro.
Coochie, it becomes embarrassing for you because you look like a bully.
This sounds like some weak stuff.
He's doing it again. He's calling you weak now. Like
I know. I'm not a man. I get it.
It's just getting ridiculous. You guys.
That's what. Let's get back to the conversation then. So you were about to explain to Joel, if a doctor gives, and the doctor knows the cure for leukemia, and he has a dying child, he's cured some children but not other children, and then he's deciding whether or not to cure this child, and it's free, like it's a free cure, and he decides not to.
How can you prove he cured it? Prove to me he cured one child.
Because a child had leukemia, and that doctor gave them a specific medicine that he had secretly hidden, and then that kid's leukemia went away.
Oh, okay.
And he has some other kids that he said, no, I'm not going to do for those ones. And now there's a new kid on the table, and the kid is dying, and he says, should I do this one or not? Do you think the doctor should cure that kid or not?
If we're using my God's point of view,
Can
right?
you do this without yelling?
The God I believe in,
Why are you so angry right now?
Bro, I'm not angry, bro. I'm passionate. This is what I believe in, bro. It's what I stand on. Religion, money, lots of...
Sorry, Coochie. It's so annoying. We're not asking you about God right now. We're asking you about a doctor. So answer the question about a doctor. Speak
But
to the doctor.
This is a debate about God. Why are we using straw man?
Yeah, that's a good point. No, he's no, you're totally right, Gucci. Let's just cut to the chase, because I think tracking a metaphor is a little bit like it's like complicated for me. I can't keep
No, the analogies are just terrible.
The analogy is totally flawed. You're totally right, because the doctor's not all knowing. He doesn't know the future and stuff like that. So now instead we have God, and God is watching from above. And it's not even the kids like in a hospital. They're just like in their own bed, and they're like just fully dying, like just on their way out, but in pain, just like fully dying. And the kids like say 6, and they've spent 6 years just suffering. Like it's just sucked the whole time. And then he's seen like some of the other kids he has cured, and some he was like, nah, I'm not going to cure those ones. And now
how do you know? But where are you getting that information from?
From you. You said that he's cured some people, but he hasn't cured everybody, right?
When have I ever said that? I haven't said that this entire life, bro.
You said something about how
God. I asked you that question earlier, and you didn't give me an answer.
Okay, so okay. I'm sorry. I'll fix it. You don't have to yell. Let's just say, hey, can you fix this part of the analogy? And I'll fix it. Okay, so God hasn't cured anyone of leukemia then. He's never done it. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's looking at this kid who's suffering and saying, should I cure their leukemia or not? Do you think he should?
You said what?
Coochie, just to pause, just so you can calm down. Maybe Mezzo, ask me the question. I'll try to answer it, and then that'll be a good object lesson for how Coochie could maybe try to answer
You could say, I agree with Joel, or I disagree, and here's why. Joel, let's say that God is looking down, and there's a 6-year-old that has leukemia and just really, hurting, and God's thinking, I can cure this kid right now. I haven't cured anyone else before from this, but I'm going to cure this kid with leukemia right now. Do you think God should do it?
Stop all the child suffering and stuff like that?
Yeah, just for this one kid, should I cure their leukemia and let them live a long life?
I would vote. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I would vote yes, just for the sake of the child.
Okay, Gucci, do you agree with Joel?
And who is Joel supposed to be representing and answering the question? God?
Joel.
I'm answering for me. I think that God should stop the child from suffering from leukemia.
And so that's why you would answer for Gucci.
I disagree with the answer he gave, because it doesn't matter what I think. God is the standard. It's God's life. It's not your life to take to begin with.
You don't have to add all this extra stuff. I understand.
What you're saying right now,
Gucci, you don't have to add all this extra stuff.
Standard. God shut up. Gucci,
shut up real quick. Just shut up for a second. Just shut up for a second.
No, I'm answering your question.
How about we do this again? You ask me, and I'll answer as Coochie, and then Coochie can just say, yes, I agree with that, because I think I know what he's saying.
Okay, so Joel as Coochie, do you think that God should give the cure to the kid with leukemia?
No, I think all children and everyone should suffer as much as possible, as much as God wants them to. I love suffering. I love seeing children suffer. I want children suffering with cancer. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of suffering.
The problem is you care too much about other people's opinions, and you don't have nothing to do with yourself. You don't love yourself.
When I turn this live off, I love myself a lot. When I turn this off, I spend a lot of time loving myself.
Let's go see.
I love myself. I love myself up and down. Okay, I love myself like inside and out. There's very much self-love. As soon as I end this live, I'm probably going to go love myself twice. So don't you dare ever say that. Okay.
What's your definition of loving yourself? Oh, temporary satisfaction.
Just like jacking off.
BBD. Hey, finally both here.
Well, there you are. Finally, let's do the outro.
Yep, take it away, buddy.
Well, that's it from us. I'm Joel.
I'm Mezzo.
And I'm Joel. And just make sure you follow Bad Bible Debates wherever good podcasts are sold.
Yeah, or wherever you normally hijack them from.
And if you can, like it or leave a comment or anything on whatever platform you're using, please do that too.
That's right, buddy. And be sure to follow me on YouTube and TikTok. That's where we record all of these lives from. So if you want to catch the whole thing live, we got a lot of stuff going on over there.
We're always going live on TikTok and on YouTube. So yeah, definitely follow Mezzo there. And also, hey, look, follow me on TikTok, Joel Reads Bible, or subscribe on YouTube at Joel Reads Bible.
Oh, right. I guess I should say my handle is Mezzo_WS. That's pretty much the same on everything.
That's it from us for now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Bad Bible Debates.
Dude, I think that went really well.
Actually, you know what? I think that was one of our best.
Oh, I wouldn't say best. I mean, it was okay.
No, I'm not joking.
I really liked your part.
You're so hard on yourself. You know, just just listen closer to mine, and maybe you'll get it. I think eventually you will get it.